So,
All right.
She got it. Okay, she's gonna send the answers to the chat.
All right. So this is teaching the 4 C's. So my C is creative thinking. So creative thinking is the ability to consider something in a new way. And so like an example is like, if you just always have like ketchup on a hamburger, and if you like ketchup and onions on a hamburger and it's better, and you wouldn't know unless you just tried it. So I have some starting questions to kick this off. So in creative thinking, you want to ask questions that like are hypothetical and just get your brain like flowing, but have like quick and easy answers. But also because they're creative, they're mostly different for everyone. So these types of questions you're not gonna really have ever been in before because they're pretty hypothetical. And basically creative thinking and writing is important because when you get into new situations, you can think of other ways to do something and the best way to do them, or the way you would get the most enjoyment out of them. So these questions are: what car you would buy if cars would last forever? What would be one thing you would do if you didn't need to sleep? What would be the first thing you would do with $1 million? And what would the first thing you would do if there was a zombie apocalypse? So you guys want to answer some of these questions for me?
I'd get a nice truck. Trucks are reliable. Trucks can go far distances. Trucks are pretty good cars. If it never breaks down, it's good by me.
for me personally, I'd get an older car.
Oh,
I like the looks of older cars, and like it'll last forever.
Yeah.
Be good.
Yeah.
grab me in the chat.
I don't know how to see the chat.
To go on one of the other questions, if I won $1 million, the first thing I'd do with it is I'd probably invest my money.
Riley says she would get a Jeep.
Riley wants a Jeep.
Well, fair choice. Fair choice.
Yeah. I always think the thing that you would do if you didn't need to sleep would be interesting, because then you could have like 2 different lives. You literally double the time.
I'd be completely bored. I'm bored when I do sleep.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's move on. So there's 4 ways to start to develop creative expression, writing, thinking. So the first one is capturing. So it can be anywhere from brainstorming ideas on like a piece of paper, or having a random thought and writing it down. If you're like in class, a lot of teachers have been known to have like thinking boxes, and whenever you have an idea, you write it down and put it into that box so that you don't just spend all your mental thinking on that. The second is challenging. So it gets our brain thinking of new ways to solve and look at different tasks and problems. So for example, like if you play like Sudoku, I actually played it a lot. The more and more you play, the more patterns you're going to be able to see, and the easier you're going to be able to solve those types of problems in the future, because you just start to learn like different puzzles and what you can see. It also happens in chess. So the third is broadening. So learning new things is crucial in developing these creative patterns. So if you take the Sudoku example from the last step, if you have learned it and you learn other things like chess, checkers, and other games like that, for example, you'll start to like plan ahead using those like, and then you're going to be able to see different moves ahead. So just basically you're thinking of alternate like versions of that game you're playing, or just simply like broadening, simply just learning new facts. Step 4 is surrounding. So instead of just learning to know how to do a task once and thinking that's the only way how to do it, instead ask someone else how they do it, and you can justify if their way is like easier or harder than yours, or if you would get more enjoyment out of it. So a big thing in creativity is mistakes. So mistakes are helpful in solving a problem because like within math, you typically make a lot of mistakes when you don't know how to do something. Somebody with a better understanding of the topic or problem can see the step that you made as a misstep. And then if that person shows you how to fix that misstep, then you could just get the answer. So although asking why something happens seems fairly obvious at like the time of teaching in like a lecture, to get full knowledge of why something happens rather than just accepting the way it is so beneficial because you fully understand it. A lot of students just want the answers to the problems, not to make mistakes, like attempting a problem if they get it wrong and they don't know how to solve it. Most of the time, from their mistakes, most of their answer is right, except for like one little part. So it's good to do that and make the mistake and learn from it so you get it right more and more in the future. So yeah, mistakes are pretty big in creative thinking. So with like the technological era, it's very important because like computers are used in creative thinking daily, from like interior and exterior design to art and drawing and video games. So each person, like all of those help a person tell a story rather than them trying to express it with words. So like art is really big for this because a lot of artists can't describe certain things with their words, but do it with their art or music. So technology also keeps students entertained and interacting with the lesson while learning. So then they have a higher chance of actually learning and remembering the knowledge they got from that lesson. And like on the other hand, with education, it promotes learning through mistakes and thinking independently, used in each day-to-day task every day. And it helps with creative writing and brainstorming, commonly used in schools to generate ideas as a group activity. So my group members will take 5 to 10 minutes and write a quick paragraph on if you're able to write a letter to your younger self. So I don't know if we want to do that quickly and get back to it. It's like 3 to 4 sentences.
forgot that we're currently recording in our common room, so people kind of walk by us.
So yeah, hypothetical questions like these are used in education and a variety of different fields, just so brains get thinking and learning about different everything.
Mine's just kind of listing off my regrets. There we go.
Would you like to share some of it?
I'll share mine. So I wrote about like I would tell my younger self is to encourage myself to take more chances and try new things. I'd also encourage myself not to be afraid to make mistakes because you learn from them compared to like if you're always getting everything right. I feel like mistakes like help shape who you are.
Yeah.
I took a different approach. I wrote as if I was actually talking to my younger self instead of just elaborating on your idea of if I could. And
Okay.
it's basically just being, diversify my knowledge more and don't just focus on my current interests. Try to get out there, maybe learn French.
Yeah.
I'm good at French, you know.
And Riley in the chat.
Well, she is in the chat already, but
Oh, did she say something? I can't see it.
not yet. Not yet.
Oh, that's
She's taking 5 to 10 minutes, dude.
okay. But yeah, even seeing both of you took two different ways on how you were writing the one exercise with the same prompt, which really shows you that that's that first step of capturing like the first thing that comes to your mind, and they're not really the same thing that you guys wrote, even though you got the same prompt.
Yep.
Okay, so like mine, I just like put like for the school aspect of it for my younger self, I just put like to my younger self, thank you for being strong enough to make it to where you are today. I know that it was hard to continue with school sometimes as it was hard to balance each aspect of your life effectively. You did well and your hard work led us here, riding on free tuition at Lakehead.
Oof. And flex.
So Riley also took a different approach to it, where she wrote to her younger self about congratulating herself instead of the ways Jake and Andrew took. So just as a little summary, creative thinking is crucial and it promotes learning, in education through mistakes and through thinking independently. It's used in day-to-day tasks, and it helps with creative writing and brainstorming, common use in schools to generate ideas in a group activity, such as earlier task we've done in the class. And that's it. Do you guys have any questions?
No, we went over them pretty well.
Right.
Okay, we'll just stop recording then. Figure out where the recording goes to.
Yeah, I know.